the first practice that I found significantly enhances effectiveness is call it focus, call it eye for detail. I think somebody who wants to be effective has to have both focus, and that should translate into an eye for detail. When you're thinking about a task or an assignment, or when you're in a meeting, you should be all there. There are many ways that can help you get there, whether you practice concentration, whether you practice meditation, whichever one you want. But the ability to focus entirely on something, on whatever you're doing at that moment, to be 100% in that moment, and therefore developing an eye for detail, I think is hugely important. It both helps you get things right, find solutions, and it ensures that as you move into a leadership position, you minimize the number of, let's say, silly mistakes you do. And that extends from everything as mundane as the way you review an agreement or a document, to everything that's when you're planning strategy. Are you thinking only of what should be the strategy for your company? Or is your mind sort of wandering into unnecessary minutiae that, should we also be thinking of that, and should we also be thinking of that? The second one, in my view, which people could think of inculcating, is the whole people aspect. But let me delve into two specific parts of the people aspect that I personally have found very important. One is the ability to manage a very wide and diverse range of people. There are many industries and sectors where people end up managing sort of clones of themselves. If you're an MBA, you're comfortable managing other MBAs, especially of top-class institutions. If you are an engineer, you are comfortable managing engineers from other good institutions. I think the ability to manage a range of people from different backgrounds, from different, not just scholastic backgrounds or educational backgrounds, but from different strata of society also. I think that's terribly important, and I think that's something that has always held me in good stead, because it allows you to, it challenges you to relate to people from different walks of life. And being effective requires a fair amount of empathy, being able to look into a person's head and see how to motivate that person. And that leads into the second half of the people aspect that I think is a key input to effectiveness, which is, can you manage average performers to do more than what they would do without your intervention? Everybody can manage the superstars, or most of the time superstars in a team don't even really need to be managed all that much. Because take any team of 10 people, 10, 100, 1,000. I think the largest number of people will be average performers. Of course, there'll be a few superstars, and getting the most out of your superstars is also important, but the largest number will be average performers. And as a leader, what you manage to get average performers to do really actually defines your output and outcomes. So to me, those two aspects of people, learn to manage people from diverse backgrounds. And the second is, are you able to make a difference to average performers and get them to perform much beyond that? My third point, which I said in terms of effectiveness, deals with process. High performers can perform well, often even without a process. To really get average performers to perform, one of the most important things is process. Convert as many things as you can into a process, and suddenly you'll find that the moment the average performer knows what he's required to do through a process, and he knows that there are certain metrics to the process. So that's what I mean by the average performers needing that support of the process and metrics, which will then allow them to say, okay, this is what I have to do. Let me make sure I do it. And then ensure that he's incentivized and it's possible for him to beat those metrics and then get an incentive. So that whole construct, starting from an eye for detail and focus, coming down through people and coming at baseline of processes, is to me a way that somebody who's aspiring for leadership can make sure that when he's a leader, he's effective.